Hello all you amazing people. Remember, you're always amazing because you clicked on a small YouTuber's video. We're at 482 subscribers. It would really mean a lot to me if you subscribed. We're only 18 away from 500. Thank you guys so much. So in today's video, we're going to be testing out R5 Rust versus Thundering Pulse at R1. Honestly, the results are kind of surprising. Yeah, so we're going to be doing two teams. I'm going to be doing one with Vaporize and then one with Yunjin. So I'm not going to actually run this entire team. I'm actually going to take off Kazuha because I feel like it would make it a lot better to run this team. I think this team is just better because you're also going to be hitting Vaporizes, which, yeah, Kazuha can buff your damage a lot, but you can already buff your damage a lot with Bennett. So I feel like this is going to be a better team. I'm going to just look at this. If the damage is better, then I'm right. If the damage isn't better, then, oh, well, then I'm wrong. So we're going to do this and then this. I'm not even going to give it a second. Alright, so we want to see the Vaporize on the 5th hit. 69,000, alright. That's pretty good. 69,000. And then, yeah. So, I'm going to look at that 69,000, and overall, we'll see the damage. I'm going to do, like, the 3 highest damage numbers here. They're on the screen here. Alright, so now we're going to test out Thundering Pulse on this exact same team. So, I want to make it clear right now is that Yoimiya's most meta team right now is Yoimiya, Yelan, Kazuha, Bennett. That is her most meta team that I can tell. Because Yelan obviously is giving a whole bunch of buffs to Yoimiya in her attack. So, she's getting like an extra 50% once you go, once you go farther into the string, she just gets stronger and stronger. It's kind of basically... It's basically how this set works, like how you get the 2% on every single hit. This is basically, it's a passive damage buff, okay? If you don't know what Yelan does, that's the rundown. Now, we're going to look at this team. I mean, I'm pretty sure I'm confident on the answer to this team. So, I think I'll know the answer to this team, but we never really know until, we're there. So, 14,000, alright. And Vaporize is 40,000 there? 78,000. Alright. Yeah, so this team is better if we put Kazuha instead of Xingqiu. But the thing is, so I was not expecting this. Just saying. When you add Yunjin, Bennett, and Kazuha onto a team, it actually makes R5 Rust better. So, with all the buffs, Rust is better. So if you plan on running Yunjin, Kazuha, Bennett, then the buffs are going to be better. And I will point out also, the reason why, okay, I should make it also clear that, the reason why is because this 80% normal attack damage is actually very high and it's buffing Yunjin. It gets calculated after Yunjin's, flat buff, I guess. So, whereas Thundering Pulse only has 40%, you're going to do less damage. So, if you were to put Kazuha, Bennett, Yunjin on a Yoimiya team, then R5 Rust is better than Thundering Pulse. It's hard for me to recommend summoning. I don't think you should summon if you have an R5 Rust, if you're going to use said team comp where you're using Yunjin, Bennett, and Kazuha, because I will say every single hit is higher with that team on R5 Rust. So every single hit doing higher damage is obviously just better. So a 5-star weapon not being able to outclass Rust is, pretty bad. I'm pretty sure this team, I believe, will have Thundering Pulse be better. We'll see. I've done these tests before. I've recorded this entire video before, so we're gonna redo this. But the reason why I wanted to redo this video is because my quality when I was very, very, like, I was just starting when I made that video, basically. I really had not put my foot down into, like, making my thumbnails better, making everything look good. It's my most viewed video on my channel, so I'm kind of like, well, that's not a good representation of what I am at this point, and how far I've come. Like, that video, I can probably look back at it and be like, oh wow, this video sucks. So here's what we're gonna do. I honestly have started to get annoyed with Kazuha and his showcases. So 17,000 there, 53,000. All right, yeah, this is just very higher. Yeah, 55,000 there. All right. So on the Yunjin team, we actually had a higher cap with Vaporizes. The most meta team, yeah, Xingqiu and Yelan may be very similar, but Fischl is actually the best, teammate. So you really shouldn't look at the Vaporizes, but I mean, if you're looking at the vaporizes, then you kind of want to run Yunjin. I'll compare these in editing, and I'll give my final verdict, I guess. I'll record a little segment of a final verdict. R5 Rust there. Come on, hit the vaporize. 47,000 there. And getting back into the circle, we got 48,000 and 49,000. Wow. Okay, very, very good. Very, very close also, but the Thundering Pulse does win in that match. We were seeing like 50Ks in there. So when you're looking at them, yeah, Thundering Pulse is definitely... Yeah, Thundering Pulse is definitely going to be better. If you plan to use Yunjin on your team, then honestly, you don't need to go for the Thundering Pulse at all. However, if you're a very meta player and you want to maximize your damage, Yoimiya is the only character that you really need a 5-star weapon on. If you're building this team and you're a meta player, then why are you building this team? I've realized I've been talking about meta and all this stuff. Why? Yoimiya is not a meta character. I'm just saying this right now. If anybody thinks that Yoimiya is like a meta-defining character, she's not. She's very good. She's very fun to play. She's very cool. And I love using her whenever I'm like, oh, what character should I use? Honestly, the amount that I have used Hu Tao compared to Yoimiya, like Yoimiya is my... Like, I think I've used Yoimiya like 3 times as often. Because Hu Tao, with her low HP, you having to use a shield character with her. If I didn't run Ito, then I probably would run Hu Tao more, because I would be using a Zhongli team. However, I still feel like Yoimiya is probably... She's just my go-to. And also, my Hu Tao doesn't have a great build. I mean, 50% crit rate, yeah, it's not the greatest. But, yeah. And speaking of builds, let's go over all these guys' builds. It's a lot. We had the main target weapons that we were using. We had Thundering Pulse and Rust, so those are the 2 weapons I used. No one else. I didn't use anything else there. Also, it is notable to mention that Kazuha, if you do have his 5-star weapon, will buff Yoimiya's damage a bit, like a pretty decent bit. So, if you have his signature weapon, then I would say, honestly, running Yunjin is probably just like a waste. Because you're kind of wasting your thing. I don't know. Yunjin's very niche. But she's good when she's niche. Alright. And then I have my Yoimiya Triple Crown. She's just... I loved her. I wish I didn't spend anything on this burst, because quite literally, I never use it. It's never used. There is no reason to ever use it. You get 5 hits. It's like 1,000 damage. Mona does that like once. Easily. And it's super easy for her to do. She's C0. Her artifacts are looking pretty decent. Not like the best artifacts. Like, I would definitely want a better one of this, but I just have not gotten a better one of that. And then, I mean, this is good. I like anything above 20 crit damage. Like, see, this one, it's not that good. I would say, like, anything above 20 crit damage is pretty good. But my Yoimiya isn't built badly either. So she's at 5189. This is the stat that I like to look at because, you know, that's the entire basis of what... This is the stat that I like to look at. She's using a pyro damage goblet, obviously. But if you want to go see the maximum stacks here, she is at 75,205. What I go for when I build a character is over 70% crit rate, and then I stop caring about crit rate. Like, I could lose 3% or like 5.5% to be exact. Like, I could lose that. I could lose this crit rate. I mean, it would take me below, but I could lose that crit rate and I'd be fine. Yoimiya scaling with crit rate instead of crit damage is a lot better. Because as you can see, Hu Tao's situation over here is I wish she scaled with crit rate. Now for Xingqiu's build, it's pretty like standard. I mean 42, 82, 84, it's pretty bad. But then you have Sacrificial Sword, and then you're running Emblem. He's got a whole bunch of bad artifacts on. It's just like secondhand artifacts because Raiden took all my other ones. And then we have C6 Xingqiu, and his burst is at level 12. And then we have a level 9 E-skill. Bennett, he's level 10. He's got C0, sadly. Hopefully that one multi that I do on Yoimiya's banner will get me to C1. And then we have full Noblesse Obliged on him, which is just going to help out even more. He's using Aquila Favonia, so he basically is the maximum C0 Bennett you can have. He's maxed out, basically. Then we have Kazuha at 978 Elemental Mastery. This number is absurd. 525% swirl damage. Yeah. And then he's just using the Iron Sting, and then you got the artifacts that are pretty decent. This one's very good. I would rather more energy recharge. I mean, I feel like we could all say that instead of going into flat defense, that Elemental Mastery roll would have been nice, or an energy recharge. I really do need a lot more energy recharge on my Kazuha, and also why so much crit damage? Why? I didn't need that. And then we have this awful one that's just pretty bad. Like, there's no energy recharge. I have no energy recharge practically on my Kazuha. It feels awful. But yeah. And then my Kazuha was C1, but I didn't use that benefit at all in this video. As you could tell, I wasn't even popping his E-skill at all. So, yeah. And his burst is crowned with 2 level 8 talents, but you didn't really need to see that because they were never used. His burst is crowned. And finally, we will come over to Yunjin with 2001 defense, which actually isn't her defense because you see the Husk set. She had maximum stacks on Husk, so if you want to do the calculations yourself, then you can do it. But I think she sits around like a 2,150 defense. Is what she sits around with the 4 stacks. I made sure that she had the 4 stacks every single run we did. And then I just basically went full energy recharge on her. Like, if I could get defense pieces, then yeah, they're defense, but I wanted energy recharge. It's my Bennett build, basically. I just want pure energy recharge on substats. She is also C0, so, I mean, you could get even more damage buff from her if you did a crystallized reaction. I don't know. And then her burst is level 8. It definitely could even be level 9. So Rust was already doing more damage than Thundering Pulse. However, she wasn't even maxed out compared to like Kazuha and Bennett. So yeah, with using these characters, I mean, this team will output the most damage. This team with Thundering Pulse will output the most damage. However, with Yunjin, you just get away with using a 4-star bow because you'll do the same amount of damage. Now, whether it's worth summoning on Thundering Pulse, not with the amount of like shaft you have to go through, because I mean, look guys, literally no one's going to get the weapon. I'm sorry, none of you are gonna get the weapon on your first try. It's like, it can happen, but I mean, there's like 20 people that watch these videos, and I mean, I'm sorry to say, but it's not happening. That's gonna be it for this video. Make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.